The news hit Earth like a thunderbolt. After 50 years of trying to join the Galactic Council, humanity's application was not just denied, they were banned from ever applying again. The council chambers, filled with alien representatives from 1,000 worlds, had voted overwhelmingly against Earth's membership. Tom Wilson, Earth's chief ambassador, stood frozen as the council leader delivered the verdict. His simple black suit felt too tight as hundreds of alien eyes stared at him with a mix of pity and contempt. "Humans are too unpredictable," the council leader announced, his blue skin shimmering under the chamber's lights. "Your species advances too quickly. You solve problems in ways that disturb the natural order. Your military growth poses a risk to galactic stability." Tom wanted to argue back, but he knew it would be useless. The council had made up their minds long ago. Earth was seen as the dangerous young child that needed to be kept away from the adults' table. Back on Earth, the global reaction was not what the council expected. Instead of defeat, humans felt angry. Instead of acceptance, they felt challenged. In a historic meeting at the United Nations, representatives from every nation gathered to discuss humanity's next steps. "If they won't let us join their council," said the American president, "then we'll build something better." The Chinese leader nodded in agreement. "We spent 50 years trying to prove ourselves worthy. Now we'll spend the next 50 showing them what they missed." That day, the Earth Union was born. All nations agreed to work together, pooling their resources and knowledge. The rejection had done something unprecedented. It had united humanity under a single banner. Within months, massive space construction projects began. The Moon became humanity's first major shipyard. Mars was transformed into a research center. The asteroid belt turned into a mining operation that would make Earth's old gold rushes look tiny in comparison. The Council watched with growing concern as humans expanded through their solar system. They had expected Earth to slow down after the rejection. Instead, humanity moved faster than ever. Tom Wilson, now the Earth Union's first space admiral, stood on the observation deck of humanity's first major space station. Looking at the stars, he smiled. The Council thought they were closing a door on humanity. Instead, they had pushed humanity to build their own doors, bigger ones, better ones. The story of humanity's rise was just beginning, and the galaxy would never be the same. 10 years after the Council's rejection, Earth's solar system had transformed beyond recognition. The Moon, once a silent silver sphere, now glowed with the lights of 1,000 shipyards. Its craters housed massive construction docks where Earth's first fleet of deep space vessels took shape. Through the window of his office in Lunar Command, Admiral Tom Wilson watched as workers in sleek spacesuits guided massive panels into place on the flagship's hull. The ship's name, Phoenix, gleamed in gold letters against its dark metal surface. Like the mythical bird, humanity was rising from the ashes of rejection. "Admiral, the test results are in," said Mary Roberts, his chief engineer. Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she handed him the report. "The new drive system works. We've managed to create something the Council has never seen before." The humans had discovered that the Council's faster-than-light technology, which they'd refused to share with Earth, had a fundamental flaw. It could only travel through specific lanes in space. But Earth's scientists, forced to think differently, had created something new, a drive that could cut across space in any direction. In the asteroid belt, massive mining machines carved through space rocks, extracting rare metals that the Council worlds had long thought impossible to mine efficiently. Human ingenuity had found a way, using swarms of small, smart robots that worked together like colonies of space ants. On Mars, the red planet's first cities took shape under massive crystal domes. Scientists there had cracked the code of terraforming, developing methods that could transform dead worlds into living ones in decades instead of centuries. The Council had always insisted such rapid transformation was impossible. But humanity's greatest achievement was happening in secret. Deep in the Kuiper Belt, beyond Neptune's orbit, Earth had built its first independent colony on a distant dwarf planet. They named it Hope. Unlike the rigid, standardized colonies of Council worlds, Hope was a marvel of adaptation and innovation. Its buildings grew like crystal formations, expanding and changing as needed. The Council spies eventually discovered Hope, and the reaction was immediate. An emergency session was called. "This is exactly why we rejected them," the Council leader declared. "They're advancing too fast, breaking too many of our established rules." But one Council member, an elder from a species known for their wisdom, spoke up. "Perhaps we made a mistake. These humans, they're not just breaking rules. They're showing us new ways to solve old problems." Back on Hope, the colony's first children were being born. In the colony's central park, under lights that perfectly mimicked Earth's sun, Tom stood with Mary watching families play. Their own son, James, was among the children, part of the first generation that would grow up knowing humanity's destiny lay in the stars. "The Council thought they were containing us," Mary said, watching the children play. "But they just gave us the push we needed to become something greater." Tom nodded, his hand resting on a datapad showing the latest reports. Earth's ships were now ready to venture beyond their solar system. They had detected several non-Council worlds that might be interested in trade and alliance. The Earth Union was about to take its first steps into galactic politics, not as a beggar seeking admission, but as a power in its own right. As the artificial sun set on Hope Colony, casting beautiful colors across the crystal dome, Tom thought about how far humanity had come. The Council's rejection had been painful, but it had forced humanity to innovate, to push boundaries, to become something unique in the galaxy. The stars were waiting, and humanity was ready to meet them on their own terms. The Phoenix cut through space like a silver arrow, its revolutionary drive leaving traces of blue light in the void. Inside the ship's diplomatic chamber, Admiral Tom Wilson and Ambassador Mary Roberts prepared to make history. Their destination, the independent world of Lamaria, a planet that had also rejected Council membership centuries ago. The chamber's walls displayed a real-time view of space, making it feel as if they were standing among the stars. The Phoenix's bridge crew had nicknamed this room the Starfield, and its beauty never failed to impress visiting diplomats. Approaching Lamaria, Admiral, announced the ship's AI through hidden speakers. "Their orbital defense grid is tracking us, but they're maintaining peaceful status." The planet that appeared before them was breathtaking. Lamaria's 3 moons cast triple shadows on its purple oceans, and its cities glowed with rainbow lights that danced across its surface. Unlike the rigid, standardized architecture of Council worlds, Lamaria's buildings seemed to flow like frozen music. The Lamarians, it turned out, had much in common with humanity. They too had been deemed too innovative by the Council. Their crime? Creating technology that merged organic and mechanical components, something the Council considered taboo. "Your arrival is most interesting," said first speaker John of Lamaria, his crystalline body reflecting the chamber's starlight. The Lamarians had chosen to use Earth names in their communications, a gesture of friendship that touched the human delegation deeply. "We watched how your people responded to Council rejection. Most impressive." Mary stepped forward, her diplomatic training kicking in. "We believe there are many worlds like ours, planets that don't fit the Council's rigid view of civilization. Perhaps it's time we created something new." The meeting lasted 3 days. When it ended, the first cornerstone of what would become the Free Systems Alliance had been laid. The Lamarians shared their biomechanical technology, while humanity offered their new drive system and terraforming techniques. But the real breakthrough came during a casual conversation over dinner. "We're not the only ones," John revealed, his crystal form shifting to display a map of nearby star systems. "There are at least 20 other worlds that have either rejected Council membership or been rejected themselves. Each has developed unique technologies and cultures that the Council fears." Back on the Phoenix, Tom and Mary reviewed the list of potential allies. The Aquari, who had developed cities that could exist in any environment, from deep space to ocean trenches. The Nexus, a species that had created a collective consciousness without losing individuality. The Forge worlds, where artificial intelligence and organic life coexisted as equals. The Council didn't just reject us, Tom realized, watching the stars streak by as they headed to their next destination. They rejected anyone who dared to think differently. They've created their own opposition without realizing it. Mary nodded, adding notes to her datapad. And now these worlds are ready to unite. Not under the Council's banner of conformity, but under a banner of innovation and freedom. The Phoenix's next stop was even more successful. The Aquari, impressed by humanity's rapid progress, immediately agreed to join the alliance. Their ambassador, who chose the name Alex, demonstrated technology that could create habitable environments anywhere. As Tom watched the Aquari and human crews working together to install the new environmental systems on the Phoenix, he felt a surge of pride. The Council had feared humanity's unpredictability, but that very trait was now bringing together the galaxy's most innovative civilizations. In his private log that night, Tom wrote, "The Council thought they were isolating us. Instead, they helped us find our true allies. Together, we're not just building an empire, we're creating a future where innovation and diversity are celebrated, not feared." The stars seemed brighter that night, as if they too were celebrating the birth of something new in the galaxy. The Grand Hall of the Free Systems Alliance headquarters on Hope Colony sparkled under the light of 3 artificial suns. Representatives from 30 independent worlds filled the chamber, their varied forms creating a spectacular display of galactic diversity. Some floated as pure energy, others shifted between solid and gaseous states, while many took humanoid forms out of respect for their hosts. Admiral Tom Wilson stood at the central podium, his white uniform gleaming. The last 5 years had aged him, silver streaking his hair, but his eyes burned with the same determination that had driven humanity since their rejection. "The Council has begun closing borders," he announced, his voice carrying across the chamber. "They're trying to isolate our worlds, restrict trade, and limit our expansion. But they've forgotten something crucial: we're the ones who think differently." The holographic display behind him came to life, showing the Alliance's latest achievement. A network of quantum tunnels, created by combining human drive technology with Lemurian crystal science and Aquari spacefolding techniques. The Council's trade blockade had just become meaningless. Mary Roberts, now Supreme Ambassador of the Alliance, stepped forward. Time had only sharpened her diplomatic skills. "We've received requests for membership from 15 more civilizations," she announced. "Including, surprisingly, 3 worlds that currently belong to the Council." The chamber erupted in excited chatter. The Council was facing its first internal fracture in 10,000 years. Their rigid control was beginning to crack. But the biggest revelation came from James, Tom and Mary's son, now a brilliant young scientist. He had been working with a team of multi-species researchers in the depths of Hope Colony's advanced laboratories. "We've discovered something extraordinary," he announced, activating his own holographic display. "The Council's fear of rapid advancement isn't just political, it's based on an ancient misunderstanding of how the galaxy works." The display showed a complex network of energy fields spanning the galaxy. "They believe rapid technological advancement damages these fields, causing instability. But our research shows the opposite. The fields actually grow stronger with innovation. The galaxy itself evolves with its inhabitants." In the Council chambers, the news of this discovery caused chaos. The fundamental principle behind their conservative approach to technology and expansion was being challenged. More member worlds began questioning the Council's wisdom. Back on Hope Colony, Tom stood in the observation dome, watching ships from dozens of worlds dock at the massive space station above. Each vessel represented a different approach to space travel, a unique solution to the same challenge. The diversity was beautiful, like a dance of stars. They wanted us to follow their path, Mary said, joining him at the window. Instead, we've shown the galaxy that there are countless paths to the future. A alert chimed softly. The quantum network had detected unusual movement. The Council was mobilizing its fleet, the first time they had done so in a millennium. They're afraid, Tom said, studying the tactical display. Not of our weapons or our ships, but of the change we represent. James rushed into the observation dome, his young face excited. The lab teams have made another breakthrough. We've found a way to communicate with the galaxy's energy fields themselves. The Council wasn't just wrong about technology damaging them, they never truly understood them at all. As if in response to his words, the space around Hope Colony began to shimmer with subtle lights, the energy fields becoming visible to the naked eye for the first time in galactic history. It was as if the galaxy itself was putting on a show of support for the Alliance's achievements. The Council had rejected humanity for being too unpredictable, too innovative, too quick to advance. Now those very traits were reshaping the galaxy, awakening possibilities that had laid dormant for millennia. A storm was coming, not just a political or military conflict, but a fundamental clash between two visions of the future. The Free Systems Alliance had shown that diversity and innovation weren't just beneficial, they were essential to the galaxy's evolution. The Council's warships emerged from hyperspace like a wave of metallic thunder, their ancient hulls gleaming with the accumulated technology of 10,000 years. 5,000 vessels, each one a masterpiece of standardized engineering, arranged in perfect geometric formations. It was meant to be an overwhelming display of power. But Admiral Tom Wilson didn't see intimidation in that display. He saw stagnation. The Phoenix floated at the head of the Alliance fleet, now joined by ships of every imaginable design. Lemurian crystal vessels that bent light around them, Aquari-living ships that moved like sea creatures through space, and human vessels with their revolutionary drive systems creating patterns of blue fire in the void. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Mary announced from her position as chief diplomat. Their son James stood beside her, monitoring the energy field readings that had become visible to Alliance sensors. The Council leader's image appeared on the Phoenix's main screen, his blue skin now pale with age. "This is your final warning," he declared. "Disband your alliance. Return to your designated spaces. Accept the natural order of the galaxy." Tom stepped forward, his white uniform reflecting the starlight. "We've made a discovery," he replied calmly. "The galaxy's energy fields, the ones you've used to justify restricting progress for millennia, they're not what you think they are." James activated the ship's special sensors. Around them, the energy fields became visible to every vessel in both fleets. They swirled and danced, creating patterns of incredible beauty. "These fields don't need protection from progress," James explained, his voice carrying across the communication channels. "They're meant to evolve with us. Every innovation, every new idea, every different approach to solving problems, it all makes them stronger." As if responding to his words, the fields began to pulse with new colors. The Alliance ships, each one unique in its design and approach, created harmonious ripples in the field. The Council's standardized fleet, in contrast, generated a monotone disturbance. "Impossible," the Council leader whispered, but the evidence was undeniable. Then something extraordinary happened. The energy fields themselves began to take shape, forming into massive, ethereal beings of pure light. The ancient guardians of the galaxy, long thought to be mere myth, had awakened. "We have watched," they spoke, their thoughts touching every mind in both fleets. "For eons, we waited for species that would embrace diversity, innovation, and growth. The Council's fear of change has kept the galaxy stagnant. But now, at last, life moves forward again." The Council fleet's perfect formation wavered. Several ships broke ranks, moving to join the Alliance. They were followed by others, then more, as centuries of rigid control crumbled in the face of undeniable truth. The Phoenix's sensors detected quantum tunnels opening throughout Council space as more worlds declared their independence. The carefully maintained order of millennia was transforming into something new, something alive with possibility. "You were right to fear us," Tom broadcasted to the remaining Council ships. "Not because we were dangerous, but because we represented the change you've been resisting for so long. The galaxy doesn't need guardians of the status quo. It needs explorers, innovators, dreamers." Mary stepped forward, ever the diplomat. "Join us," she offered. "Not as rulers or subjects, but as equals. Let's discover together what the galaxy can truly become." Above the fleets, the ancient Guardians' light show continued, a display of cosmic art that demonstrated the true nature of the universe, not a place of rigid order, but a canvas of endless possibility, waiting for life to paint new wonders across its expanse. The Council leader looked old, tired, and finally, perhaps, ready to learn something new. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "it is time for the Council to change as well." 1 year after the Great Confrontation, the galaxy had transformed beyond recognition. The Grand Chamber of the new Galactic Concordat, built in orbit around a binary star system, stood as a testament to this change. Its walls shifted like living crystal, adapted from Lemurian architecture, while Aquari environmental systems created unique atmospheric bubbles for each species' comfort. Admiral Tom Wilson, now Grand Coordinator of the Concordat, stood at the heart of the chamber. Above him, the transparent dome revealed the spectacular dance of two suns, one blue, one gold, their light playing across the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds. "Look how far we've come," Mary whispered beside him, her diplomatic robes shimmering with embedded quantum particles that translated her words into 30 different languages simultaneously. The technology was a gift from a former Council world, finally free to share their innovations. The ancient Guardians, now visible to all, floated as patterns of light throughout the chamber. They had become teachers, sharing knowledge hidden in the galaxy's energy fields for millions of years. But they taught in ways that encouraged questions, innovation, and unique interpretations. James led a team of multi-species scientists on the chamber's research level. They had discovered that each civilization's unique approach to technology created different harmonics in the galaxy's energy fields. When combined, these harmonics produced entirely new possibilities. "We've confirmed another breakthrough," James announced to the assembly. The holographic display showed a new form of space travel, one that combined the Council's rigid lanes, human ingenuity, Lemurian crystals, and Aquari spacefolding. "The galaxy itself is teaching us how to dance among the stars." The former Council leader, now serving as an advisor to the Concordat, watched with wonder as ships of countless designs moved through the new dimensional corridors. His once blue skin had taken on a subtle iridescence, a sign of his species' adaptation to the new age of innovation. "We thought we were protecting the galaxy," he admitted to Tom. "Instead, we were holding it back. Your rejection from the Council might have been the best thing that ever happened to our civilization." In the space around the Concordat station, ships of every size and design moved in a complex ballet. Some were biological, others mechanical, and many were combinations never before imagined. Each represented a different solution to the challenge of space travel, and each contributed its own unique song to the galaxy's energy fields. The ancient Guardians had revealed that the galaxy was never meant to be a place of rigid order. It was meant to be a canvas where life could paint with the colors of innovation, where each species could contribute its own stroke to the greater picture. "We're detecting new energy patterns forming," James reported excitedly. "It's as if the galaxy is responding to our diversity, creating new possibilities we never imagined." The chamber's display showed the phenomenon. Where different technologies and approaches intersected, the energy fields bloomed with new patterns. Each innovation, each unique solution, each cultural perspective added to the galaxy's complexity and beauty. Tom stood at the chamber's observation window, remembering that day 50 years ago when Earth had been rejected from the Council. They thought they were closing a door, he said to Mary. But they were really opening the galaxy. The ancient guardians shimmered in agreement, their light forming patterns that spoke of possibilities yet to come. The galaxy was awakening, not just to new technologies and innovations, but to new ways of thinking about existence itself. As the binary sun set, casting rainbow lights through the crystalline structure of the Concordat chamber, representatives from 1,000 worlds continued their work. Not in rigid uniformity, but in a harmony of differences, each contribution making the galaxy richer, more vibrant, more alive. The future was no longer a single path, but an infinite array of possibilities, each one adding its own note to the cosmic symphony. 100 years had passed since Earth's rejection from the Galactic Council. The observation deck of Earth's orbital ring provided a breathtaking view of humanity's homeworld, now transformed into a garden planet of stunning beauty. The old nations had become one, their borders replaced by flowing patterns of green forests and crystal cities that worked in harmony with nature. Admiral Tom Wilson's grandson, Michael, stood beside the original Phoenix, now preserved as a museum piece in the orbital ring's grand gallery. At 80 years old, he had inherited his grandfather's white uniform and determination, along with the role of Grand Coordinator of the Concordat. The ancient guardians danced around the Phoenix, their light patterns telling stories of the great changes they had witnessed. Below, Earth cities glowed with the combined technological achievements of 1,000 worlds, Lemurian crystal towers that grew from living rock, quasi-environmental systems that had turned deserts into paradise, and human innovations that had made it all work together. "Your grandfather would be proud," said a familiar voice. Mary Roberts, now in her final years but still sharp as ever, moved forward in her hover chair, its design a perfect blend of council precision and alliance creativity. "We didn't just build an empire, we built something far greater." The holographic displays around them showed the state of the galaxy. The rigid hyperspace lanes of the old Council era had been replaced by a living network of quantum tunnels, each one a unique expression of spacetime engineering. Ships of every imaginable design moved through these passages, carrying ideas and innovations across the stars. James, now a legendary scientist in his own right, appeared via quantum projection. His form shimmered with the energy fields that had become an integral part of galactic civilization. "We've confirmed it," he announced, his eyes bright with excitement despite his age. "The galaxy is evolving faster than ever. The ancient guardians say we've entered a new phase of cosmic development." The chamber filled with representatives from across the galaxy, gathering for the centennial celebration of the Concordat's founding. Each being brought their own unique contribution to the greater whole, technologies, philosophies, arts, and sciences that would have been forbidden under the old council. 100 years ago, Michael addressed the gathering. Humanity was rejected for being too innovative, too unpredictable. Today, those same traits have helped create a galaxy where every species can pursue their own path to the stars. The ancient guardians formed a spectacular light show above the assembly, depicting the journey from Earth's rejection to the present. The energy fields of the galaxy pulsed with colors never before seen, harmonics of innovation that spiraled through space and time. In the distance, the first ships of the Deep Space Initiative prepared for launch. These vessels, created through the combined knowledge of all member species, would venture beyond the galaxy's edge. Each ship was unique, carrying the dreams and innovations of its crew into the unknown. The former council leader's successor, her blue skin now naturally iridescent from evolution, stepped forward. "We once feared change," she admitted. "Now we understand that change is the galaxy's greatest strength. Humanity didn't just prove us wrong, they showed us how to be right in a whole new way." Mary touched a control on her hover chair, and the Phoenix's old engines hummed to life one last time. The sound resonated with the energy fields, creating a symphony of light and power that spread across the Earth's orbital ring. It was a reminder of how far they had come, and a promise of greater journeys ahead. As the celebration continued, Michael stood at the same window where his grandfather had once watched humanity's first steps into a greater galaxy. The stars seemed brighter now, more alive with possibility. Earth had been banned from a council that feared the future, only to help create a future where fear had no place. The galaxy had learned what humanity knew all along, that the greatest adventures come not from following established paths, but from daring to create new ones. In the end, they had built more than an empire. They had built a future where every species could reach for the stars in their own unique way. And somewhere, in the infinite dance of stars and energy fields, the spirit of innovation that had started with one rejected planet continued to light the way forward, proving that the best answers often come from those who refuse to accept the limits set by others.